All right, here we are, episode 2. Welcome. My name is Daz Tactic. We are playing Shadow Empire with the Oceania DLC. I'm going to be trying to sort of rattle through the basic Shadow Empire stuff to a degree. But anyway, we'll keep on going. We'll sort of leave it. I'll just leave those things where they are. I've sort of come back in. It's been a few hours now. I forget things very, very quickly. I just want to go and just want to squeeze out. Where things are sort of coming in. We know that there's another force in here somewhere. And in reality, these artillery, if we are going to use them, they're going to rip through the ammo quite aggressively. And I'd prefer to have them with some sort of protection on. I might bring this one back up. This is actually one of the Galactic Republic infantry troops that we sort of got with the energy weapons. So we'll just move that up to there. We've got another one from there. What I'm going to do is I want to combine these. Ultimately, if I'm going to get the same, like these are both GR grade infantry, and this one is also GR grade infantry. You just found them in the last turn. In fact, if we go back to the video, we've got fuel deposits have been found in Tirona, blah, blah, blah. We've got a maritime trade house has now arrived. So we'll go through that today. This is something that is new in the game, so we can start to talk about maritime trade houses and what that then means. Gain national pride, which is just something to do with the profiles, nothing we have to really worry too much about. Power plant was discovered. Now, the SCAV teams found intact Galactic Republic equipment near Eagle in the zone Tirona. So these come from free towns that we sort of like free folk towns that we liberate. As we liberate them, we find tech or money or materials or machines and different things like that. Anyway, we found 200 GR grade infantry. So this is why it's always a good thing when you are playing the game to have a look for those little towns and target them and sort of try to take them over. It only happens the first time you do it. After that, you don't get these rewards. Anyway, it allows us to get like 200 of those. Which is basically 2 units worth. And we also found our scav teams found a sealed silo with intact Galactic Republic equipment near Pollock in the zone Tirona as well. This allowed us to let our reserve recruits form another 200 GR grade infantry. So we've been able to find the equipment and equip our troops with this as well. So we've now got 2 plus 2, we've got 4 of them, and that's what we're sort of seeing through there. Also, we found at Uravan, 249 metal was secured. And that was it. So that's what we found. Now, if I just go and press, there's Uravan there. So we found that our troops had pushed forward into this area. Uravan had the metal. Pollock had the 200 GR grade infantry equipment, which we've now sort of put onto troops. And Eagle had another 200 in through there. So that's what's actually happening. Now, if there's any others like this that we haven't seen yet, that we haven't got to, nothing we can see there. There may be something up there, we just don't know. But when we find these, typically, if it's got like a little town, it will then have some goodies there for us. So it is worth grabbing those if you can. Anyway, let's just go and press number 1 again. So this GR grade infantry, now what I want to do is I don't want, like 2 on their own is not really all that useful, but 4 together is actually not too bad. So let's move them across together. We now have both the GR grade infantries together. And so what we can do is just go and pick one of these and through this side, and if we just open this one up, and so we've got this other side as well. And if we just do a transfer, we can then go and transfer, hang on, that's transfer troops and items. That's the wrong one. We want to go transfer battle groups. So transfer units in the same hex and battle group formation. So I'm just going to go into this side. Now, we've got the GR grade infantry selected in through here. We want to go and grab the other GR grade infantry through that side. And we want to just basically transfer the 2 of them across there. So just going to do the transfer. They're both at the same location. We're just moving forces around. Now, there are natural limits to how much they can actually have, and in this instance, we haven't met the limit. I think it's 10. And I think in this instance, I think, but in most cases, like for example, if they were different types of units, we wouldn't be able to do this. But they happen to both be GR grade infantry, and so we're just going to do the transfer. Okay, and now we have just 1, which is now a size 4. Cancel that one. So now they've been combined. It's a good idea to do that up until size 6 at least, because then they can start to push out back away the borders. And I tend to try to keep these sort of secure because they are the best of the best that we've got. If we have a quick look at what they do actually have, these do actually have combat armor with laser rifles, and so we've picked up laser rifles essentially in the mix of things that we had, along with combat armor. Very, very powerful troops. and so they'll be quite useful, even for mainly for defence. So I don't really want to have them going in and attack things if I can help it, because I don't want to be losing any of those. That for me is fairly important. Now orange is where we want to be going into this particular location. Let's have a now look at this location in through here. This is Ruri John. Now we've only got 2 attacks that can go into this one. If I leave one open, that they're more likely to run, but if I can go from 2 different angles, I'm more likely to get them to, I'm going to get like a slight bonus. I think I'd prefer to keep it open. Also, there's a river that runs through there, and if we just go and hover on either one of these hexes and then just hover over this side, you'll see that the river crossing, in fact it's got 2 river crossings there. There must be a small river there that runs through this side. What about if we just go this side and just hover over this one? Yeah, we can see there. So infantry fighting across the river, and this is in the last column in the top table there. It says the river crossing is negative 30, and so this is so basically it's they're going to, if they're fighting across that river, 30% of their combat is lost. So essentially it weakens what we've got. So we have to think in our head: is it better for us to have the attack coming from different angles, or is it best to leave that open for them as a way for them to escape across the river? I'm thinking because it's a negative 30 for our infantry, and that's what we're going to be using for the attack, I might as well just leave it open and let them assault. We're only going to be able to assault from one location in here, which is going to be painful, unfortunately. So let's just go back and press number 1. That means that this area through here is going to be mainly where we go. Now I might just move up and just sort of see what else we can spot from here, because I don't really want this unit doing it. I really want to have just the orange force doing this particular attack. So we're sort of getting more in through this side. That's the end of it through there. We've now claimed all of this. We can see, what have we got over there? Assets. This is a monastery, and we're going to get 20 bureaucratic points of 25, which would actually be pretty handy. We might even do some little landings like this, just so you can get a bit of a feel for it. Like this is Solorum. It's non-aligned forces at this point in time. Even if we land there, though, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Anyway, you'll see what I mean when we do it. For the sake of 25 BP, I don't know if I want to be bothering with that one. Let's just move these guys down and get them ready to assault. Now we know there's a group in here. One thing we don't actually have, though, is the recon amount that we require. In fact, we do have the recon amount. The interesting thing here is, what I might do is I might just come forward with this. Yeah, I'll declare war. Yeah, no, we do want to declare war. So that's why I thought there was something else happening there. So do we want to invade their territory? Yes, we do. So we're just going to go and declare war. And so we can now just go straight into that location. So we do claim that one. This one here is another port, a private harbour. And we're just going to keep our forces sort of coming in more and more, just the orange forces. And ultimately I want to have the blue ready to go as well. So we'll sort of move them up into, get them ready to be able to move across as required. We don't know where this one actually is at this stage. This one has really taken a lot of damage, so I'll just move it out of the way. I'm going to leave that one up there, just to sort of try to keep these under control. I might even move that across to there, just to help out with any defence that might have to come up against the artillery. I don't want the artillery left on their own. Okay, so we've now got war with this particular group. Now I could try to attack this with these groups. One thing I want to be careful of is I want their readiness to be as high as possible. So 67 is just not going to cut it. So let's just leave them for a few turns in that particular location. By the way, there's certain things that you may want to have a bit of a look at as well. Like, for example, actually not so much that one, just the readiness bonuses. So the readiness gain bonus from the OHQ is 6%, the SHQ is 6%. So we're going to get a little bit of a boost along. So the headquarter power is at 100% because we've got our headquarters right there. Everything else is looking pretty good there, actually. So that's actually fine. Now, in terms of, do we have any cards we can play with this particular group? If we just go to the units, actually this unit's there. Yeah, we don't have anything at this stage. We've got spotter drones, but that's not going to help us much. In terms of the recon on this area, it's only 62, which isn't great. I might bring this one back down because it does actually have some militia buggies which have got like high recon, 15 recon. So that will actually give us, if we move that one down just to sit there, it will then give us a boost on what we can see. And I do want to have them one access point away from town. We can see that's quite strong. It's going to take a fairly long time, unfortunately, to sort of dislodge these. So it will it'll take a bit of an issue, like to sort of move them forward. We're not going to be able to upgrade our forces with this either. So there's nothing much I can do about that other than just to keep on attacking and attacking and attacking. Now, if we have a quick look at the replacement troops, everything is good. I might just get a few replacement troops in board. Let's just get, say, 10 of them. So we'll produce those. We've got enough artillery, enough ammunition. I'll just grab a couple of machine guns as well. Don't need many of those. That's the blue group has got machine guns. So the 1st Infantry has got a combination of GIs and the machine gun groups as well. I could bring them in and help them attack with this group as well, but I don't think I'll bother. What I might do, just on the off chance, because like if we have a look at the difference between what these guys do, they've got 69. They've got Enviro suits. They don't actually have anything great, so they've got very low stopping power, and they've got 3469 with what they can then do with the attack and defense. So they're going to be attacking at 34 and only have like 69 protection, essentially hit points. If you ever look back at the Galactic Republic stuff, 255 with an attack of 140, so much stronger. What I might do here is just go and set this one up. If I just go to the unit admin and change the HQ, I can add 2 more groups across to the different other HQs. So I'm going to set this one to be part of the 1st Machine Gun Brigade, so that it can then... Oh, wrong one. Actually, I'll just do that again. Unit admin, change HQ, should have been the 2nd. So it's now orange, but the readiness has now gone down. It halves every time you do it. So we're down to about 36 and through there. So it's sort of like we've lost a lot of readiness. That's okay. We'll see if we can get a couple of attacks in before we bring these back in. By then, hopefully it's weak enough for us to sort of start to dislodge. Let's also have a look. This is just agricultural. And so as far as the attack modifier, there's no negatives with attacking into agricultural land, and there's no real great defense. So they're not going to be able to defend all that well anyway. So it's just a matter of wearing them down, essentially. That should all be okay, I think. I love how detailed this game actually is. Yep, no, that should be okay. That should be okay. All right, let's continue on. There's a lot of good stuff now in the game that's come in. Like, for example, like we don't have to look at it, but the maritime logistical points entering the hex without a port is no penalty. It still means that there's an overall, I think it's negative 75% penalty, but there's no extra penalty. If we go to this jungle, for example, and have a look at the jungle, we have a negative 43% on top of the fact that we're going in without a port as well. So it means that we've got like a lot less logistics going in. We'll do that soonish, I hope, where we can sort of then test all those sorts of things out. Now, it may also be that we'll deal with what's up in here, hopefully. Like they're on this hill, which is going to be very hard for us to dislodge. Only got a small recon point there amount. Let's just go to our decisions. Economic Council research objective. The power plant. Do I need the power plant? No, not really. I don't really need it. Now, so the choice, like a lot of people who are newish to the game, and probably even people who play it a fair bit, will be looking at it thinking, okay, I've only got one choice, let's do it. No, you don't want to do that. What we want to be doing is we want to be discovering things. And so if we go back to our text, so we've discovered the power plant, we want to discover the university, we want to discover VidCom broadcasting, and we do eventually want to discover heavy industry. Some of these other ones we may want to discover as well. But these are the ones that we have to be looking for fairly early on. So discovery for us is more important than getting a power plant, which is going to be very expensive in terms of running fuel to actually run it. So we don't really want the power plant. It's not a burning thing for us, whereas that'll help with our happiness. VidCom broadcasting will help with our happiness. And so these are 2 things that I want to get pretty early. So VidCom is what I'm going to be holding out for. But I've got a chance to get anything that's sort of in this white lettering that's been exposed, Once we've got 3 in any one area, it then opens up the next range as well. And so I wouldn't mind trying to open up this at some point and get the power banks and maybe a few of the other things, maybe over here as well. So we've already got RPGs. That's got one of them. So any 2 from in here would be okay, but I don't really need any of these on this particular planet. So I've got heaps of water, so hydroponics isn't important. Water soil recomposition is completely unimportant to me because I've got so much water I don't know what to do with it. Metal soil filtration may be the only one that's valuable to me from the Economic Council. Anyway, the answer here is I don't need the power plant right now. So if I do need anything, I'll just build a solar panels and just make do with that one for a little while, and then we'll get the power plant if we really need it. But we'll actually then do the research on it. So we've done the discovery, just don't have the research. The research is when it's got this sort of greenish tinge underneath the whole thing. We'll just go back to the map. All right, so with that one done. Sorry, we'll just go back into here again. We go to research nothing at all. And sorry, to also show this again, if I just go into the dashboard, you'll see that the Economic Council has 45% of the total bureaucratic points are being put into the Economic Council, which equates in this turn to 74 bureaucratic points. Those 74 are then split up depending on how we had done the percentages, like when we had set that up in the last episode. And discovery and research, if you remember that we only put like this very small percentage, 5%, of the went to discovery, and 45 I think went into research, something like that. But you'll see it's got 0 in research. Everything from research is being put back into discovery because we're not researching anything. So when we go and research nothing, it means put everything into discovery. Bang, done. That's what we want. Maritime Trade House representative has come. Now this is the Blowfish Maritime Trade House. This is Renata, so of the Planetary Ocean MTH. And so this is, they're wanting to make contact with us. And we do want to do this. We don't have to do it early, but but doing it, we're going to have to do it at some point. We've got a bit of money. We are going backwards with our money, but if we go and have a look to see where they're from, if we just go and click on these, this is the Hades main MTH. This one here is the Blowfish. So the Blowfish MTH is off on this side here, which is not great. I mean, it's sort of, in one sense, over this side we've got, actually that's Blowfish there as well. So we've got the Blowfish on this side and on this side as well. This is this is Planetary Ocean 4. This is Planetary Ocean 3. Back over this side where we've got our port, this is the Odin Sea MTH. So this is actually okay because we will actually have this port available to us as well if we want it. Let's just go across and go yes. So we'll make contact. Now we could have gone no at this point, but let's just go yes, and so we'll start the process at least. Okay, that'll do us. We'll just end our turn here. Just see what they get up to. Whoops. Will they attack? Aha, okay. This is now the start of the Marauders. So the Marauders have just actually landed. We need to go and deal with that. So we do need to now split up our forces or build another force. So we'll just start our turn. I'll show you that. We'll just go through the history so you can see it. Representative from another maritime trade house has arrived to discuss things with us. So we found a stockpile in Hex 734. 3 high-tech items have been secured. That will be worth a lot of money to us. Transport contracts. So something has landed in here. And so they landed on this jungle. And if we had had troops there, now we have to try to remember that that's essentially where they're coming in. So there's a group that has actually sort of landed into that particular location, this jungle here. We don't know who that is. This is non-aligned forces. This will be a marauder group that has actually landed. And if we go to the history and just go back and sort of play it all out, there's only 3 actions that we sort of got wind of while we were doing things. If we just go to the first one. And so the first one is we start to see some movement down this way. Then we see another one. Now, it may actually not be. This may be amphibious forces from the ocean. Like the fact that we're seeing this, yeah, it's moving around. It's moved around up to here and then moved across. It could be animals. If that's animals, I'm not going to stress out too much about it. What I don't want them to do, though, is cut my road off. So that's interesting to sort of see that. So they moved across, swum across, and then actually landed there. So it may not be marauders. Let's just go back across the map. Now we do actually have the 20 that's there. I've got another group down this way. Let's go and move this one down to start to sort of see what we can find. This is why we need to have some police forces on the map. So there's still things that are happening back up and through here. Now, where are we going with this one? We're at 87. I think we can still do better, so let's just wait. Let's bring this one down. Now, what we want to do in through here is get our recon higher. It says minimum recon 40, but in reality, the more we can get in there, the better. So we bring that one down, and now we have 82. So that's added a little bit more into it. I can also move these in as well, which will add a little bit, up to 90. I'll throw another one in there. What's that one? That one's now 98. The more recon I can get, the better in there. Let's just move this one across as well. Let's just move these up. We still don't have recon up in that side just yet. Might have to get some armoured cars just to help out with different things. Now, if that's an animal, the animal is unlikely to go inland. It's more likely to just walk along the coastline. So we still have to be a bit careful of it. But we're okay back and through here. One decision, which is Maritime Trade House Representative. So this is the Hades main, which is one up through here. Again, I'm happy enough with that one. We've got 422. We've got enough for another turn or so. Let's just go yes. Money becomes quite important to us. While we're playing this particular DLC, it really does make a massive difference. And so with that one, we're just going to go across to trade and just see if we can actually sell off rare earths at 6. There's 13 of them. Yeah, we can get 79. Let's just go and do that. I'm going to need to ultimately have about 100 to get more power at some point, but power is still going up, which is fine. We can also sell off food, which we're making a lot of food. So I can sell that for 81 as well. That will just help. I've got these high-tech parts as well. So I've got one, they'll buy one of them from us, and we've got 3. Let's do that as well. So there we are. Okay, if we just go and cancel, we're up to 500 again, so that's actually okay. That will help. And we'll see what this thing here actually does. Yep, so it's wandering along the beach. I think it's an animal. Discovered new tech, the university. Okay, so this is one that we may want to go and grab, but I think, yeah, I could actually. So we might go for that one there, because that will give me education points in the cities, and we're trying to get our civilization score high. Just move this one down to sort of see if we can find out it's in this particular area. So the town of Bryce has been lost to the natural forces. We'll just keep on moving this one up. By the way, one thing I haven't done here is, and I meant to show this, go to the second one down, which is your map layers bar, and turn on the operational logistics. That way you'll be able to see when you're going to run out of supply, and we're getting very close now to running out of supply. And I also like to have show colour on as well, just to get a bit of a tint into the other areas. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it does help a little bit. Just to sort of explain, like we're going to run out of supply through here, for example, but we're pretty safe down through this other side. All right, we'll leave them where they are. Now, we don't know what's in here at this point in time. I don't really want to go blundering up that way. I'm going to have this one come back in. This is still only at 54%. Let's have a look and see how these other guys are going. They're at 100 now. Great. So all the orange are at 100, except for that one there. These guys are at 89. I can move that one in. That one's gone down to 87. Let's do 2 rounds of attacks. We'll go in, and we're going to lose a lot of forces here, but we want to dislodge this as much as possible. Now, we don't know too much about this one. We've still got unknowns. We can see there that their entrenchment is 100, which is not that much. There's a lot of forces in here, and we've got pretty good recon now, 122. But let's start by attacking with blue, and I'll go through the different ways we're going to be doing the attacks and how they all sort of then work. if we go and start the attack in through this side and designate, you can see we've got odds of 1 to 14. Now, this is really, really bad odds. So, you know, it doesn't mean we're going to lose all of our forces. It means our forces are more likely going to run early. So we can still do this to try to get, the more recon points we have, the less we have to hunt for things. So if one group goes in and does an attack at the start, we can then sort of see how things go. Now, we've got a small creek that we have to cross on the way into town. There's a creek that runs in through there. That's negative 15 to us. If we were on the other side, anyone that attacks from that side would be negative 30. But what I want to do is I want to give them a way to escape and move out of the city. So if we do make it our way through. We then got things like the readiness modifiers. Our guys aren't really ready. You can see there they've got their entrenchment modifier overall of 89%. That is what we sort of, it's the estimation that we actually have. Their readiness is much better than ours. The readiness modifier on hit points sort of then equates to negative 17% with hit points. There's only negative 3. The experience is about the same for each side. We have 2 leaders. They have no leaders. Our culmination of all of these is basically the same. It's negative 4. So 62 attack equates to about 60. From their side, they actually have a maximum attack saturation modifier for attack values. This modifier turns negative if you're accumulating too much firepower on a too little quantity of targets. So for rifle militia, it's negative 30, and so they have a negative 30 with their essentially attack saturation factors. They've got too much against the one force that we've actually allocated. But overall, their attack is it's got plus 67% when you calculate all these together, which from their original attack of 513 ends up being 858. So our 60 is versus 858. Let's go and put in more blues. So you can sort of see as we put more blues in, this will then start to come back down. This will also diminish because they're getting more frontage now on the forces that are coming in against them. This is diminishing every time we do this until it's basically almost gone completely. They've now got because that's been diminished all the way down, they've now got a modified defence power of 1,100 against our 300. So we've still got an odds of 1 to 3.3, which is terrible. If we start to have a look and put other factors in, you'll see that there's nothing really happening here. But as soon as I start to put a different group in there, we're going to have a different negative modifier that will go in. It actually the net result is positive, but if I try maybe this one here, it's hard to see. It is helpful, but initially what we want to do is just run in and see what actually happens with these guys. So we're just going to go and actually attack, and sort of what we want to do is actually go and get the recon points up and try to reduce what they do a little bit. If we can get a couple of kills, that will help. So let's do the attack. This is going to go badly for us. Most of our forces will run. Did very little damage to them at all. So hardly anything at all. If you look at the text, the readiness dropped hardly anything. The entrenchment dropped hardly anything as well. But the final where is it? The final of the recon, we now have full information about where they actually are. So now we can go in with our orange force, which is the main one we wanted to use anyway. Now we did actually lose 10 subunits. It's a fairly expensive attack just to try to get recon. And that's all we were doing in that particular one. The readiness has now dropped into horrible levels for those guys. Now we'll go in with orange and start to now do the attacks in through here. So we'll just go and smash these in. This is also really, really bad odds. We do get to see everything though, but I think we just have to keep on trying to push in for now. If this is just not going to work, we may have to start to bring in some other high power units to sort of do the attack. Let's just try it and see. If we end up with practically no benefit, then we'll come back with something else, with a plan B. Come on, we've got one killed, but the cost is way, way too much for us. Yep, so we only got one. So one subunit was all that went. With all that went, we look at the text. Hardly any difference at all. So they're too well dug in across that creek. So that's a pretty big problem for us. We lost another 11 units, so we lost 21 units there. So our readiness has now dropped dramatically. We'll just leave them where they all are. So we're not going to be able to dislodge them with infantry. So this just is not with the infantry that we currently have. So this isn't going to work. We're going to need to soften them up. So, plan B. We're going to have to go back into the replacement troops. Need at least another 9 with those. Let's just go and get, say, 15. Produce those. And machine gun wasn't too bad. We'll just get another 4. Okay, that's fine. And what we could do would be to bring in a group of tanks. Now, we've got a fair bit of metal and a fair bit of industrial points. So let's go and bring in a tank group and start to try to use that to help dislodge these guys. So we'll bring that in to actually work in with this infantry selection. We may even bring in a couple of tanks, actually. So if we just go across, and it's going to take a fair few turns to get everything set up. Just go to raise formation, independent battalion of light tanks. So we've got enough in nearly, everything. We've got enough of everything to be able to bring 2 of these in. So let's go and do this. 50 blitzers, raise that formation. So we've now got some tanks that are in there. We'll do another one, raise formation, same deal. Sorry, there's someone working outside. And I think I might make this go into the blue force, but we're going to have to let everyone now come back up. So let's just go to the unit. By making them go into the blue force, we lose readiness initially, but then we end up getting the bonus of the leadership. So we'll just go to unit admin, change HQ to the first machine gun. And unit admin, change HQ, first machine gun. All right, so we'll leave those in there. Now the leader is up this way. And that's a bit of a problem because we're going to need to have the leader close by down to here. I can always move it down for the attack. Let's just leave it like that for now. And actually, we're nearly out of time. We've hardly done anything. I've really got to start moving along with this. Got one decision. Harrison wants portraits in schools. I think everyone would be happy with that. So we'll go that way. And yeah, so now we have to build up. Their readiness is down to 35 with this. Everything else is really shot to pieces. We're going to need to bring another group of something over here at some point. We can move into there and have a bit of a look. I think we still may have a little bit of supply there, but not very much. We'll leave that where that is. What will this thing do? Still marching along. Yeah, we killed 300 infantry, lost 100 infantry. So there's been an attack going somewhere. All right, problem with unit with low supply. Just missed that one. Just push this one back, and then we'll start to come back across this mountain range. So I think that they're sort of wandering up along the coastline. So that is definitely a beast that's come out of the water. Yeah, this one has got no supply, so we just need to get that one back into supply, and we'll need to get it like a road up that way to be able to then make better use of this. We won't worry too much about it. Let's have a look and see what actually happened here in terms of the attacks. Hopefully it's this one attacking us. Just go to history, go to the next battle. Where was the next battle? Oh, it was there. Okay, they went that way from there. Interesting. All right, so we did lose 1 GI. They lost 3. So it wasn't the one that we were hoping for. Just go back to the map. But it looks like we may have access to this one now. Do I risk it? Let's move that one up. Yeah, we did. That's the correct decision. We'll move them onto the hill, and then we should be able to then eventually find the one that's hiding in the forest here. As we sort of come back down, they're actually okay. These we just have to keep on waiting now until their readiness comes right up. And the same thing we have to do is just wait for these guys also for their readiness to come up before we can then try another attack. But having 2 tank groups is usually enough to dislodge these early people. So we'll give that one a bit of a go. That's all we need to do this turn. Again, things are sort of coming up. What else can we build back in here? Just go to construction. We do have the barracks that we can build. I don't think I'll worry about it. Industry 2 is going to. We can't afford that one just yet. We don't need that. The ammunition, we're using a lot of ammunition at the moment, so let's go and grab more of that. So we'll just build some more ammunition, because there's a lot of oil on this planet. The fact that there's so much oil, we could actually get the power plant if we need it. Yeah, it's just everywhere. So yeah, we're not going to have any problems at all with oil. I wouldn't mind building on here at some point as well. Okay, let's leave it there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we kept our promise, so we're holding Jenna at this point in time. So we just have to hold it there. So the MTH Hades main has started an auction. Now that will come in the next turn. I think I'll actually leave it here so we can then do the auction in the next phase. Now because we had made contact, we now can participate in the auction. Now we don't have very much money, so we're just going to have to put in basically the minimum bid and see if we can win it with that. These guys are now at 83, so still another turn or so before we can do anything else there. What I think we might do here is just press A and just do an attack into this location and just see if we can start to sort of do some damage. Now we've got no view. There we go. We're now starting to sort of see a little bit, but we've got hardly anything. This will help to dislodge their readiness. There we go. We've got a lucky kill. So we're just peppering the forest. If we look at the text, yeah, their readiness went right down because of this particular attack. I don't want to do this in the towns because it will actually destroy the town infrastructure as well. And we do want to keep the assets that they have, the farming and the transport hub. We would like to try to keep that. So the tanks are also going to do damage when they roll in. Let's now go up into this side. Just go and press M again so we can start to do the attack. And this is looking like another hard attack, but we'll just keep it going and sort of see how we go. It's saying that they've got like a good defensive power, but their readiness should be down because of this artillery barrage.
Let's go.
No, they're going to hold on. They've lost too many again. Lost too many. Okay, so the defender held into that location, and we've lost a bit there. I'll just move this one up into there just to help defend against that particular group of marauders. These are just free folk marauders. And just go back to the decision. So national budget allocation, no changes with that. Now we've got the new organisation. I really need to get on top of money, and that is going to mean getting the Interior Council. So I think we'll go that way next. I normally would love to go with something different. And then we have the shares. I think I'll actually leave this for the next episode. So let's leave it here, and then we'll come back and do the stock trading at the start of the next episode. That way we've got contact in this one, and then share bids in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you then.